Hello everyone and welcome to Kerbal Space Program. This is version 0.21.1 and today we are going to build a lifter rocket for payloads, heavy payloads, I guess 70 tons or so. Okay, let's get started then. We'll be using this probe core. I won't have crew on this lifter rocket. And then ASAS, we want a battery. And I'm going to be using a mod in this build. This is in my opinion the most important mod of this game. It's the Kerbal Engineer, and what it does is it gives you information when you're building and when you're flying, and it's very important to know that this information so that you can build your rocket and it will work the way you want it to work. Okay, I'm going to have this on atmospheric mode and Kerbin, because we are lifting from Kerbin, so I can immediately see the delta V and thrust to weight ratio and all that stuff. But I'm going to go compact for now because I'm going to build the payload first. I'm going to use 2 of these orange tanks, a battery, ASA unit, ASAS unit, and probe core, and docking ports. I want 1 on each end actually, so I'll be able to use this payload. And we will need some electricity, so these solar panels. Alright, this is great. If we can manage to get this in the orbit, we can use this to refuel all kinds of ships. Maybe one day build a space station and have these on the station. For a lot of fuel. Now let's build the actual lifting rocket. I think this payload is ready. It's about 73 tons maybe. What we are going to do is we are going to use the asparagus staging for this rocket. I will explain what that means, but first we need a center tank, center column, and I'm going to right away strut this to the payload. I like using these cubic struts. They are very handy in strutting everything up nice and solid. Also we need struts here to prevent the wobble from this tank to this tank. Okay, that didn't work. Let's try again. From there to there now. Okay, this is very tall, but I think we can manage. And now we need more. This engineer mod now tells us that with this one mainsail engine we have 1210 delta V in atmosphere. If we were in space we'd have 1400 and some delta V, but we are interested in the atmospheric stats right now. We have thrust to weight ratio of 1.14, which is great for the last stage. This will be the last thing that's left of our lifter. We will drop everything else. This is the stage that will do the final push to orbit, and thrust to weight ratio above 1 is really great. You can manage if it's just below 1, not too much, but try to aim for about 1. That'll do nicely up in the very thin atmosphere, or actually out of the atmosphere, doing the final push to orbit. But now we will do some asparagus staging, and what that means that we will have tanks in pairs in this case, and have fuel lines running so that the fuel drains from one tank first, and when that's empty we'll drop it, and then second outer tank drains, and then we drop it, and then third one drains and we drop it, so that we are constantly losing extra weight and getting more efficient and efficient. Another gray tank there, and let's go for mainsail. And a fuel line from, I have two-way symmetry on, so a fuel line from Hna to Hna, and now we can check our engineer that we have thrust to weight ratio of 1.8 on this second to last stage, which is extremely good, and 2500 delta V on these two stages combined. What we are looking for in delta V is about 4,500 to get us to stable low Kerbin orbit. So we still need more fuel and engines, but let's finish this stage first. We want to strut this down. I like to run 2 struts per tank, like so, and then we need these cubics to hold the orange and the gray tank together. The main sails are pushing hard, and this can cause so much wobble that the rocket becomes unflyable. So this strutting will prevent some of that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to alt click this tank to copy it, so we can use it again and again. Now let's make another stage. I'm going to move these decouplers here and then alt click on the tank and like so, put it and run the fuel line. Now that we are using the asparagus staging, this fuel line needs to go from this tank to this tank. Actually, I don't know if I have the mouse cursor enabled, but I think you can see from the green light. Now we have 3 stages. Let's move these down so that every engine fires up simultaneously when we launch. We have over 2 thrust weight ratio now, but well, let's say 2, which is optimal. I think this you don't need much more thrust. Only thing you gain is that you will be going too fast against terminal velocity in the atmosphere and end up pushing against the air and actually wasting fuel going too fast. But the thrust weight ratio of 2 is pretty good. We are at 3,300 total now. We still need more. 1 pair. Then attach this tank. I would like to put it there, thank you, please. Okay. Sometimes you need to be patient with but now it's there. Then remember to run the fuel line, and now this is the new stage. We want it to go like this. Move the engines, and then the last decoupler pair we put is here, so we move it. Okay, now this is how the asparagus staging works. This tank will be the first one to drain, and this fuel line pumps the this engine use of course this fuel, and this fuel line runs here, so that this tank, the first tank, fuels this engine and this engine and this engine and the middle one, because the fuel lines go from here to here to here to center. When this is empty, we'll drop it, this stage 3 here, and lose the engine also, and start using up this fuel. When this drains, we drop it stage 2 and start using this tank. When this is empty, we drop it and we are left with the center tank, and it will be full when all these are gone, because of the fuel lines run like so. Every new stage starts full when the previous stage is separated, and this is very efficient, very efficient. I'm going to run these struts before I forget, like so, and like so. I'm going to 6-way symmetry and have struts here also. And I'm going to strut these tanks together. Great. Now on our first stage we have a thrust to weight ratio of 2 over 2.1, 2.16, which is a bit much, I think. So I'm going to find our first stage. It is here, this one, and remove the mainsail engine and try it with a baby mainsail, this skipper engine. See how it affects, and maybe have it on symmetry to start with. Copy these engines to the... We want to fire up all the engines at the start and make sure that every engine is on this first stage, so that we will have every bit of thrust. It's well, 1.83. I let's see how it affects our delta V. 3925. And it doesn't really make any difference. I'm going to go with the mainsails all the way, because mainsail. Now I think one thing we have, this doesn't indicate enough delta V, 3913, but it's all in the atmosphere, but we are going up all the time, and the air is getting thinner and thinner. The engine, the mainsail engine, has ISP at sea level 280 and ISP in vacuum over 300. It gets better the higher it goes, but it's not that much better. Let's see, we have 4600 in the vacuum of space. So when we kind of approximate 3900 and 4600, we get like 4000, maybe 200. I don't think that's enough. Let's maybe have some more fuel. This is great. The engineer shows us all the time, in real time, that are we going to make it or not, and we don't have to launch to to see, we can actually know if the rocket will make it or not, and how well it will make it. Now we added some fuel to all the stages. Thrust to weight ratio is still good. Okay, this could work. Let's run some struts and see. This is a very basic design. There's nothing fancy or nothing special. This is just a workhorse lifter. 2 orange tanks as payload. There's an SAS unit here and here, so we have plenty of torque. We have these solar panels on our payload and 2 probe cores, so we can control each of the. We can control the. After separation, we can control the payload and the lifter rocket if we want to deorbit it and burn it up in the atmosphere. But I think this might be almost ready. I need to name it. 72-ton lifter. And maybe one more thing, we can select all these mainsails and we can disable the gimbaling on these engines to reduce wobble. We have this middle engine still on gimbaling, so and that is enough. We don't want these engines to move, just thrust. Okay, let's run. Launch clamps. Okay. And maybe have them right here. Okay, let's have a go. All right. This is the flight engineer's in-flight user interface. What we can use from here is the orbital display. It's great for showing apoapsis and periapsis, time to apoapsis and periapsis. For example, these are the numbers I'm looking at when I'm flying a rocket. We can have this vessel information. This shows our stages and total mass is 522 tons, which is a lot, but well, I don't know, maybe we need that much. There's ways to make this more efficient. Maybe have solid rocket boosters, jet engines, maybe for stage 1 for very efficient lifting, but like I said, this is the workhorse canister gaming burrows workhorse lifter to get the job done easily and reliably. Okay, ASAS engaged, throttle is up, and we are good to go. 3, 2, 1. This is great information, also this terminal velocity. We are now going faster. We can throttle down a bit. What we want is 100% exact, but that's hard, but we are almost at 100%. Okay, that's stage 1. Empty, and now we can go throttle up and accelerate. We don't want to go above 100% because then we are exceeding the terminal velocity and we are wasting fuel, pushing against the air resistance. But this is very efficient, very good. We are closing 10 kilometers. This is where I usually start my gravity turn, 10k or so. Right, another stage used. That looks like a giant Johnson. Alright. Start the gravity turn slowly and then gradually go steeper and steeper. Ideally, what you would like to do with these kind of heavy payloads is go vertical as long as you can and start turning horizontal, so that right. Maybe we turned too aggressively. Structural failure on linkage between Rocomax Jumbo fuel and Clampetron. Okay. Okay. We need more struts. I think that failure was now. So what we are going to do is we are going to place some more of these cubic struts here and here. Run the fuel lines. Excuse me, the struts. Why you no attach? Okay, that the reason might be that there's no counterpart for it to attach to. Four-way symmetry on. and now it's working. Maybe have some struts. From hna to hna also, like so. Okay, this should be it. Save and launch. I was talking earlier about that we could actually use these payloads we are using on this lifter build, so I could make it a little bit easier to use these. I'm going to have these RCS blocks here and here. Okay, here and here, and have some RCS fuel also on board for maybe docking someday to a space station, perhaps. Okay, that does not look nice. OCD is terrible thing, I tell you. This is very annoying to me, like so. Okay. Okay, we could use this RCS we just added to help us steer the rocket on our way up, but I don't need that. I don't think we need that, so we will try without. Throttle up, ASAS on. 3, 2, 1. Okay, these will be the first tanks to drain. Like so. Overheating a little bit, but not too much. There's this feature of the game that if you attach these mainsails directly to the orange tanks, they will overheat very fast, very quickly, and explode, and you will have a bad day. But if you have something in between, a cubic strut or this gray tank or anything at all, they won't overheat as much. So I have these orange tanks for more fuel, and the main sails can handle the extra weight, no problem. Okay, we are now over 10 kilometers already. I'm a bit late on my gravity turn, but I'm trying to still make it. We don't have too much delta V. We can't afford to waste it. But we have some. We can just maybe not go on such a high orbit. We can maybe go for 72 kilometers or so. That'll save us some, and try to have as efficient ascent as we can. The apoapsis is starting to get really high. It's not out of the atmosphere yet, but it's getting there. I don't know why the craft is suddenly spinning. Last stage. Okay, this is it. We have to make it with this. We had the 1.1 thrust to weight ratio on this last stage, which is great. Now we are still accelerating nicely. We even lost 6 of our 7 engines during the ascent and staging, but we are still going nicely, and apoapsis is rising. I think I'm going to aim for 75 kilometers or so orbit. That'll be nice and stable out of the atmosphere by 5 kilometers, so there's even some room to maneuver. I'm going to cut the throttle with X key when this reaches 75 kilometers, and then I'm going to just free ride there, and coasting to apoapsis, I think Medjep would say. We still have 400 delta V left, and we are moving at nice speed. I think we can actually make this rocket to work. Let's see. This was not the most efficient ascent profile, but it was efficient enough, I think, and that's what counts. I guess. Okay, we are out of the atmosphere. 1 minute to apoapsis. I'm going to accelerate time a little bit closer to apoapsis, and now I'm going to point the rocket straight prograde. This This is turning quite nicely. The new ASAS works in situations like these. It's really great. We are almost at apoapsis. I'm going to give it a little push and see if we can raise the periapsis out of the atmosphere. I'm ready with the X key to cut throttle when the periapsis is out of the atmosphere. Oop, the camera is okay. 72 by 75. That's pretty nice. I'm going to try and make it as round as I can for easy rendezvous and docking. Well, docking is don't matter, but the rendezvous. So we are out of the atmosphere on stable 75-kilometer orbit, and we have some delta V left still. Actually, we have 170. That's really nice. Going to deploy the solar panels. There. Oh. There's so much fuel waiting for someone to pick it up. Alright. That was it. Very easy. And reliable rocket. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video. Bye bye.